Truth be told, when I wonder what the future holds, it takes me out of the present. New moon, waxing, full moon, waning, crescent. Life cycles, teammates or rivals. Soul search, dangerous World War III, the goal's always survival. That's nature, day you're born when you meet your maker. Tears start chasing paper, burning trees or melting glaciers. But truth be told, when I wonder what the future holds, it's impossible to process, so I stay focused on my progress.
Yes, people. Welcome back to the Triple Captains podcast. As you can see, I'm back in the middle seat, hosting again. Right where I belong, where I want to be and stay. Be prepared for a quick turnaround of episodes because we're in that Christmassy December period now. Don't know where to start really. Obviously, big game today with Arsenal and Chelsea. But before we go into that, you can see in my face that there's a lot of things I want to get off my chest about the game itself. Suppose I should check in on the other hosts to see how they're doing. Guffs, starting with you.
Lead on.
Okay. Dark.
Move back.
Okay. As you can see, it seems like there's no real talk around the host today. So
Wasn't a great game week. Like, it's a game week that can happen, but you don't want it to happen on the week that you use your chips. And unfortunately, it did. So many leagues have been corrected and so on. It's quite funny because when you look online, you always see it that everybody makes out as they top scored for the week, that kind of thing. So you start thinking, well, wow, like it really is that bad. For me, it is that bad. Like, but in reality, like many people are in the same situation. They free hit, things didn't work out the way they wanted it to. Like triple captain obviously didn't work out the way that it was meant to, or ideally would go. We go again type thing.
Worked out for the guys that didn't have triple captains.
Not really, because they still captain Haaland.
Yeah, but if I go with the triple captain and he doesn't perform, it means that I neutralise that triple captain. So last week when I was saying that you both will be doing it, and you wasn't sure yet, as Guffs will remember, it was a situation where I was hoping if you both do it and he doesn't do anything, it will work out in favour for me. So for me, I feel like it worked out. But I guess we'll get into that when we do team reviews. But, I was going to say let's get straight into the main game of the week, which was Arsenal-Chelsea. But let me touch on the donut of the week first, because there was two candidates this week. I'll start with Paqueta. I don't know if he's got his match fixing going on again or what his issue was, but because it was the 84th minute, I believe, he got the red card, he didn't make my donut of the week because I feel like Liverpool had the game. I didn't really see West Ham getting back into it. It's 84th minute, so the game was pretty done for me. But arguing, and the ref was giving you blight, and you just wouldn't stop until you got that second yellow. If you haven't match fixed again, or you haven't got someone doing something, and you're that thick, then you deserve to be along the candidates for donut of the week. Because in reality, you've just come back from suspension. But as it's Hotz's donut of the week, my candidates are irrelevant. The donut of the week is Vicario. Spurs are 1-0 down in 4 minutes. They could still get back into the game. It's only 4 minutes. 2 minutes later, you're rushing out of goal, trying to help the team, potentially. Your control is poor. So then you go towards the side of the pitch. You've got two choices. Kick it out into safety, boot it upfield as far and as high as possible. You decide to try and do some stupid sort of pass, which backfires, and we all know Wilson buried it and made him look like a right fool. for me, after that second goal, 6 minutes in, the game's done. So for me, Vicario is the donut of the week because he ended all hopes of a comeback from the 1-0. It was funny watching. I liked watching it because obviously I'm Arsenal, he's Spurs. It was a very Spursy move, but like all jokes aside, you know, it was that hypocrite in him. But for me, the West Ham game was done, so it made no real impact in my opinion. Going off in the 84th minute, but going 2-0 down after 6 minutes is a lot of work to get back into it, especially the way that Spurs have been playing recently. So Vicario, you're the donut of the week. But yeah, don't know if you guys want to have any opinions or add anything to it before we move on. But,
I mean,
yeah,
it was pleasing because obviously Ark had him as his keeper. So from that perspective, it was very funny to see Vicario, you know, conceding a second goal.
I forgot that. Giving him a -1 from 6 minutes on. Putting him on 0.
But, you know.
No.
Yeah.
What's your views on it? No, putting him at 0 at 6 minutes in. Because you know you get the 1 point for starting, then you can see 2 -1. But okay, you got your point, so we'll move on since you're happy with that 1 point. So on to the main.
That is what it is.
Yeah, of course. Look, I'm hot, and I'm in a hot seat. But Guffs is gonna say, I always say that, and I'm every week. I'm still pissed, even though I'm hosting this week, because realistically, I had a plan and I didn't do it. But we'll get into that later. Arsenal, Chelsea, the main game. What's your view, lads? Starting with you, Guffs.
Well, I mean, we're not too far removed from the game. Look, I think the game went as I kind of thought it would go in terms of it would be a tight affair. I thought Arsenal probably played their worst game they have in a while, if I'm honest. Disjointed in many ways. But I think once we saw that Saliba wasn't in the team, I feared that could be the case. I think that we didn't have that defensive stability at the back. And I think that affected the whole team in many ways. I think that you could see that Hincapié was a bit sort of shaky today. I don't think he was playing at the level that we've seen him in an Arsenal shirt this season. And I think players like Rice and Zubimendi probably had to kind of forego their attacking instincts to just sort of give that little bit of help at the back. So yeah, I thought Chelsea had their full 11 on the pitch, might have won the game, if I'm honest. They were playing a lot of aggression. I thought that even when they had 10 men, we had better control with Odegaard, but I still felt that they looked dangerous. And, you know, although I'm upset to not win the game, given that they had 10 men, I think in retrospect, to come away from Chelsea, who are in great form as well, with a draw isn't the worst result. But it wasn't like the greatest game. I thought it was quite scrappy. There wasn't like a host of chances. And Chelsea are growing, you know. I think they're clearly showing that they've moved on another level this season. I don't think they're quite at our level yet, as in Arsenal's, but they're coming. So yeah, I thought 1-0 was probably a fair result in the end.
You know what's mad about that, yeah? I'm going to give my dad some props, funny enough. And I don't look to him, no disrespect for football advice. But he said to me before he left to go back home, he basically said like, Chelsea, watch out for Chelsea. And since then, it's like they've been on a little run. So I know he might be watching. And he says he watches the show when he can. So you got your little shout out because you're right at that. But yeah. Look, before I was going to go to you, but let me just go after Guffs. I don't know if I agree. Obviously, having both our centre backs out was a big deal. So the Chelsea fans would have been happy, and so would the Chelsea squad. But I don't think Zubimendi played well today, and I don't think a lot of our team played well today. And I think as much as our centre backs were out, we conceded 1 goal. Yes, it was 10 men, but again, it was the attacking side of things that I wasn't too happy with. And our star boy at the moment isn't doing what I expect from him, and just the attack in general isn't. I think with 10 men we should have done more. So I don't think it was all about our defence really. I think it was more about up top, and we've had that problem for more than a few games in my opinion. So in hindsight, the game's done, it's fresh as you said, it was today. Take a draw, it's better than a loss. But with 10 men, I would have liked to have gone on to get a few goals and stamp some authority. But we said last week it will be a tough game, and it was. So it is what it is. I guess we have to move on. But yeah, I didn't look at Zubimendi's performance. Rice, yes, I agree with you on that, Guffs. But I thought Zubimendi was a bit. I didn't rate him today.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not. To be clear, I'm not saying that Zubimendi played well. I'm saying that our defensive, because we didn't have a Saliba or Gabriel at the back, I think the handbrake was on a little bit from the midfield, from my opinion anyway. I think I agree with you in terms of I don't think anyone really played that well for us. And I do actually agree with you in that offensively we were definitely off colour today. I mean, Saka's been a problem for a little while now. He's had spurts here and there, but certainly he's not playing at a level that we've been playing at the last 2 or 3 years. Whether the injuries have taken a toll on him, whether sort of people are now understanding his movements and sort of gaming him a little bit, who knows? But I'm
sure he'll be back, but
yeah,
he's in my team, so he needs to hurry up. But what was your view on the game?
I think I see it a bit different from the way you two have, but that's football opinions. Our game today was always going to be difficult once Saliba wasn't there. I think it's the first time that everybody can see for themselves the difference that Gabriel and Saliba create, because they're press resistant. There's a reason why they're the top 2 centre-backs in the league. Because of that press resistance, it would counteract the kind of physicality that a team is trying to bring against us. That wasn't there today. You got 2 new players, effectively, playing at centre-back. They're not particularly big either. Not that you necessarily need to be, but when you have Gabriel or Saliba at the back, they're imposing. Like, you've got one guy that's 6'2", 6'3", the other's about 6'4" as well. And they can play. So that destabilized us. I thought that the refereeing performance wasn't helpful to what happened either. He let a couple of things go to begin with, which I was like, okay, fine. But then he didn't let it go when something similar happened, which meant that he was booking people very early on. And at that point, that's why the midfield started playing with their handbrake on, because actually they're 1 tackle away from being sent off, which, from what I could see, like, I've seen a lot of things online, I've seen in different groups and so on, people talking about, it was some sort of masterclass from Chelsea. Like, for me, it wasn't. Or the same tactics that I see most teams play against us. They'll either go low block or they'll try and be physical. Last week, Tottenham tried to be physical, but we had different personnel and we dealt with it. This week, we just didn't have the right mix of personnel and athleticism, and we paid for it. And even the goal that Chelsea eventually scored, like, if you actually go back and look at it, Enzo was in offside position, so in reality, it could have been caught. But for me, like, 1-1 is not bad, I guess. I expect when they come to the Emirates that they will get dog walked. Like, I'm more than happy for them to bring their best 11, like, against even half of our best 11. I thought that today our subs didn't help us. Like, the subs came on and they looked as though they're subs for a reason. Like, they're either just coming back from injury, that type of thing. So I think I said last week when we were talking about this that we still got to gel. Like, and I don't think that anybody has seen the real Arsenal yet. And I still think that is the case. So for me, yeah, I'll take the point. In fact, looking at the game, there was more positives that came out of it for me. than negatives, simply because to me it looks as though no matter what, whether you throw the kitchen sink at us or not, we'll find a way. And for me, that's a good thing going into this kind of period. The only thing that I do worry about is now knowing that it's going to be those two at the back for the next couple of games. We're playing teams that are quite press heavy, and have got a physical striker. So it'd be interesting to see what we do against Brentford, for instance. But for me, it's no real skin off noses, etc. It will be frustrating for the team because we still could have done a smash and grab. I also don't agree with the Saka assessment. I think that at the end of the day, he's still creating chances and he's getting into those positions. So for me, he's not playing particularly bad. He's never really been that clinical guy anyway. He's a talisman, he makes things happen and he's provocative, but he's never been that guy that you say, yeah. The reason we've said that he's always behind Salah is because Salah is the one that he bangs the goals. He's clinical. Saka hasn't been. But we'll see whether he can bring that to his game.
So just to counter that, obviously I've had Saka in my team probably for the longest out of the three of us. I can't remember who's got him and who hasn't. So I'm going off what he's returned FPL wise. So he got an assist today. That was nice to get some more than 2 points from him, to be fair. But being in my team, since I put him in, he hasn't done what I expect from someone that costs 10 mil. So it's not like a personal attack on him. It's just FPL wise, he hasn't been doing what he needs to do for me for someone that costs 10 mil. And Eze, for example, hasn't been performing well. He was also on my team. But in that one game last week, he got a big total. Saka hasn't done that yet. So those little one games when they do hit could be the time when you pay for your value. But Eze isn't 10 mil. So when he doesn't, it's less of an impact for someone who's got him like Guffs. But I agree with your referee assessment. I should have mentioned that in my assessment because the ref was a wanker, to be straight up and honest about it. But I think what you said about Zubimendi made sense because it answered what I was trying to articulate with Guffs when I felt that maybe after the yellow, that's when he started playing a bit on the back foot. But
your assessment sorry, I was going to say that your assessment on Saka is 100% with regards to him being an FPL asset. We spoke about this a few times over the past couple of weeks where I ended up saying Saka is Arsenal's talisman. He is a good player, but as an FPL asset, not having him. Because
the thing is, it's hard to take him out because at some point he's going to do what Eze did, and it's annoying me. Today he could have got more. So it's like I was with Gyökeres. Even though Gyökeres hasn't done it in the Prem for everyone, when I know what I believe a player can do, it's hard for me to get rid of them. I even didn't want to take Eze out, but then I wanted to go two at the back. So it was easier to sacrifice someone and I had to. On that note, let's actually look at our actual teams and take it from there.
So quite a terrible week, but I'll run through the team. So we had Vicario in goal, which obviously Hots and Guffs have laughed about already. I had Senesi, Muniz, Calafiori and Udogi. Then I've got my punt, which was Marlon, and Boomer, Semenyo I left in, and then Dye. And then I had Thiago and Haaland up front. As you can see, I triple captained. In terms of biggest regrets that I've got here, realistically, you've got to say Haaland, but it's not that Haaland would never have been there. The logic made sense for picking Haaland as captain or triple captain. But clearly he was the wrong one for this week. The other issues that I had is that I didn't really have any scorers for my midfield, which was one of the situations that I was mulling over before the game week went ahead. At that point, because of Liverpool's form, etc., I thought, well, actually, if I'm going to take a 1 week punt, I'll go for somebody that is in form at the moment. And Gakpo was the one that I took out, which is unfortunate because obviously he got the goal and assist today. That said, even if he had done that for me, that wouldn't have got me that much further up from where I am. And I had real big problems in defence. So over the weekend, I'd been speaking about the fact that this game week I didn't expect there to be many clean sheets, which there weren't. I expected it to be quite chaotic, but I was hopeful that the defenders that I've got, they've all got potential for some sort of attack in return. But as you saw with Middlesex, they were all over the place straight away. I think the idea was to have Doggy roaming and sort of causing a nuisance higher up, but it just didn't happen like that. Munoz, I didn't expect them to get hit for 6 the way that they did. And with Calafori, because he got booked so early on, it made sense that he was taken off. So, yeah, that's where it is really. Horrible week. Lots to think about. And then we go again, I guess.
One quick thing, if you don't mind. Obviously, you went 4 at the back, and we've been talking about the back line and defensive contributions and maybe a way forward with defence over attack. And obviously, I see you've got your striker on the bench and 4 defenders in play. Obviously, shit happens, so it's not like I'm saying that was a mistake. But I just wanted to point it out before we look at my team and Guffs' team, because maybe it's not necessarily a defence over attack all times. It's just how it falls out that week. Guess we'll see when we look at the other teams too.
Yeah, similar game week to Ark really. Another piss poor week from me, and the game's kind of getting away from me right now, to be honest with you. So yeah, Dubravka, actually Pope was my goalkeeper this week, but he had a knock, I think, and it meant that Dubravka came in and got me a point. Senesi, who's in most people's teams at the moment, 2 points. He's one of the people that potentially might come out this game week because you think he's got a suspension or something. So Calafiori and Timber. In all honesty, I did think that Chelsea would score, so I wasn't expecting to get many points from them this game anyway. So, Richards, who's done very well for me in my cheapest defender, so can't really complain there. Rodgers has been on fire, and I put him back in my team, and he does fuck all. So great there. Sarr, he's on my kind of like potentially out of my team list right now. He's a bit hit and miss, hot and cold. Palace seem to have kind of hit a little bit of a brick wall in the last few weeks. Minte always looks good, always looks lively, always seems to be the pre-assist guy, but he just isn't getting the consistent points, which is quite frustrating. Eze, slight concerns with Eze now that Odegaard's back fit. I'm thinking maybe he might be sort of rotated now going forward. So he's another one that I'm looking at potentially moving on. Haaland, obviously triple captain, as Ark said, was a huge kick in the teeth. I think he had 1 shot on goal for the whole game, which was very surprising against a team like Leeds, who are a team that can see a lot of chances, but it is what it is. I brought in Thiago this week, which was a good thing I did. It was obviously to bring him in. He's doing his thing. 11 goals now in the league now. So he's one of those sort of cheapos that you kind of have to have at this point and just ride that wave. How long for, I don't know.
Brentford player to score double figures or 11 at this time of the season.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's got a lot of penalties. So but you got to score them. But 11 goals. Yeah, he's doing his thing, and I think at his price point, he's kind of a must right now. But yeah, I mean, I had Voltemader also on the bench as well.
Yeah, just
but this game it's just been a really, really weird season. I mean, and I think Ark touched on this weeks ago, where there doesn't seem to be any real form. 1 week someone's hot, next week they're completely cold. Voltemader went a couple of games, he got benched a few games ago against West Ham. Then he scores a wonderful goal this game week, Rodgers scored 2 goals and has had a few games of being great. This game does nothing, So it's so up and down, and I think that it's really tough to kind of
similar to me. I agree, but you've done something similar to me in the sense that you've said that you think Arsenal will concede, but you still went to Arsenal defenders over playing a striker, and it's like if you thought they were conceding it, then maybe it might have made more sense not to drop one of them. But then which one do you drop? And I sort of did something similar when we get to my team.
Yeah. So, I mean, the last thing to say is the Arsenal one was slightly frustrating because at half time I'm thinking, actually, even though this is it's potentially had the makings of being a game where we concede, it's 0-0 at half time. You know, Chelsea's got 10 men. I'm thinking, let's get a clean sheet here.
Perfect.
So I'm thinking like happy days, right? And then obviously you can see straight off kickoff. So that was really frustrating for that to happen. But yeah, we move on. We have to. I'm way behind, way behind, and I'm looking for snookers now moving forward.
Cool. In regards to my team, like I said, I had a similar choice with my team, and it wasn't a striker; it was a midfielder. But I didn't fancy Chelsea to score, so I decided to drop Enzo and go with the four at the back. I was never contemplating dropping my strikers, so I went with four at the back, as you can see, and if you can't see and you're listening in, I had Munoz and Gay. Gay got a yellow card, plus conceded 2, so got me nothing. Senesi and Van Dijk. Van Dijk was the only defender that returned for me. He got his clean sheet. Luckily for him, because as I said in the last episode, if he doesn't get a clean sheet, he's a goner. So now he may have just kept himself in for next week or for the next game against Sunderland. Raya got me. Raya conceded, and you know, it's a tough game, but it is what it is. The only defensive points I got really was from Van Dijk, as I said. For the midfield, Kudos, who paid my faith in starting him with a goal. Saka got me an assist. Semenyo, it's getting on thin ice because I've held on to him and I'm just not sure what I want to do with him, but I just know at any time he can score a goal, so it's a difficult one. Mateta got a goal, so I'll take that. Captain Haaland didn't do anything, which I'm happy with, because all those people captaining him only got 2 extra points than me, so that was the best neutralizer ever. In hindsight, maybe I could have went against it, but I couldn't go against him in this game week anyway, so it was perfect the way it worked out for all the triple captains, and very few went against him. Thiago, my one and only transfer this week, I took out João Pedro, who did absolutely nothing and came off at half time, for Thiago, so it was a good move. And usually if a player goes up before I want to put him in, it can make me a bit resistant to do it, but I said, you know what, he's that guy to come into my team now, so I did it. And I'm happy with that move. I will say one thing. Overall, it was 49 points in a funny game week. But I am a bit pissed. Not just because of the 49, but I did say last week I'm thinking of doing a free hit in either 13 or 15. This was the game week to do it when everyone was doing their triple captains. And the players that I wanted to put in most of them performed. So it's a bit annoying because I would have been probably in 70s and a bit more. But choices we make and you live by them. So I think I'll leave it there. So on to the Newcastle Spurs game, which is the main game this game week. What's your thoughts, Mark?
Yeah, it's interesting game, to be fair. Will be quite a matchup. Middlesex, as we know, the way that Frank has got them playing, he's kind of built them, or he's trying to get them to contain things. Whereas we know that Newcastle are really about chaos, right? So it's a definite styles make matches type thing. So whether this is going to be won by the better attackers or whoever controls it more, that's up for grabs, I guess. When I think of the two teams, Newcastle, I know generally they protect things through the central lanes, so they're all about getting it out wide and then creating overloads. Similar to the way in which Chelsea normally are. And with Tottenham, as we've seen recently, like they're struggling from a fullback's point of view, and so on. They're trying to have the high fullbacks, but whether that's the right thing for them to do. I know a couple of fans, from a Tottenham point of view as well, they're quite upset about the lack of creativity. I think I saw a recent stat with them that actually they're quite efficient and that their conversion rate off of shots that they've taken is actually really high or even the highest in the league. It's just that they're not creating in order for them to do that. So it's strange, but also Frank is under pressure, right? There's a lot of their fans, there's discontent within all of them. People didn't like his comments after the game as well, when they mentioned about Vicario being booed and so on. But I feel like it's going to be a difficult...
What did he say about those? What was his comment? Sorry to interrupt, but I missed that.
Oh, he just basically said that that's no good. No, he just said that he doesn't feel that fans should be doing that. He said something along the lines of it's not real fans that are doing that, which to an extent I kind of understand where he's coming from. But he could have managed
to call out. Yeah, but anyway,
he could have managed what he said in a better way. But you're asking a manager like to basically dog out his keeper. He's not going to do that. So, like from that perspective, I have a bit of sympathy for him. Look, to be honest, what is happening with them at the moment, if anybody pays attention to some of the segments that we put out and so on, I said like last year, 75% of teams, when they've had like 3 games in a row where their XG differential was a minus, like generally the next 2 games they got 1 point or less, and that's literally what Middlesex have done. They obviously lost to us, and then they've lost this game now. But I can't imagine that. It's not going to get any easier for him, right? Like Newcastle away is not an easy match, and then he's got Brentford. He's up. So yeah, it could be a bumpy time for him over the next 3 to 4 matches, because they've got Liverpool in there as well. But in terms of where I think this is going to end up, it's hard not to go with a home win. I think that both teams will score, but it feels as though this could end up as a 3-1.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm with you on the scoreline. I think I'm kind of there. I mean, this is the second time that they've played this season already. Obviously, they played in the League Cup when Newcastle won, I think 2-0, and won fairly comfortably. I'm thinking Newcastle could go on a little run now. They're getting some of their players back. I think Wisser is back to fitness, so he can come into the rotation. And I think in terms of an FPL standpoint, this could be a good opportunity to bring in a couple of assets for Newcastle. They've got 2 home games, Spurs, and they've got Burnley next. So, this could be like a little sweet spot for people that have got a few changes in their pocket. And I think Lewis Hall has made a difference as well. He's come back from fitness. Obviously, Trippier's injured as well, so he's he got an assist today as well, I believe. Yesterday he got an assist. So I think you can see the value of what he brings to Newcastle. So yeah,
I think both their fullbacks have helped them there. Because Livramento being back as well is quite the uplift for them too.
Yeah, I like that.
Which surprised me, to be honest, because I thought there'd be some rustiness from the fact that they've both been out for so long. But I like their fullbacks. I think they're really kind of energetic fullbacks, and both very good going forward. I mean, I think this would be a fairly comfortable win for Newcastle, if I'm honest. I think sometimes we have this perception of Spurs of, we expect them to, when they lose games, and, some people are kind of shocked by it. But if you look at their team, I don't really rate their team at all. I think they've got very average players across the board. And I know they've got some injuries like Maddison and Kulusevski. But you look at the players they have on the pitch, I mean, none of them scare me at all. And I think they're going to have a rocky season all the way through. People have short memories. Last year they were on the verge of relegation. So, yes, that was probably not where they should be, but I think they're around at sort of like 8, 9, 10th in the league in terms of their ability to put on the pitch. So,
Yeah, I'm thinking Newcastle 3-1, fairly straightforward. Home game, and the Toonami roll on.
Okay. For me, talking about the players for Spurs, they're probably their star signing would have been Simmons, who hasn't done anything yet. But I tend to be a bit more fair when it comes to new signings adapting to the Premier League and stuff. So I won't comment too much on him. But it doesn't seem to work out for him so far because he's even getting benched. I think it'll be a 2-1. I think Newcastle will win. I don't think it'll be clean. Maybe, 2-1. I'll say 2-1. You guys are confident in the 3-1. That sounds like Newcastle easily. I think it'll be a bit more tougher for Newcastle than that, but they'll get the victory. So for me, 2-1. Obviously, there's other games on, but this is the main game. So usually we talk about the main game. Let's talk about our plans for our teams for the game week. And starting a few up. What are you thinking of doing?
So last week I spoke about the fact that I want to start building the team up, heading towards a strategy to get my bench boost ready. However, there's a few things that have come up that clearly need addressing right now. Like I say, Marlon was a 1 week punt, so I don't expect to keep him. So I'll have a look at some of the games after match of the day, etc., and also looking at some of the data that
it was a good shout though, because he did start. So again,
he
started, and when I saw him start, I was a bit worried because I was like, "Oh, yeah, against Wolves, like." I didn't think
but I think that the issue is that I do think that he's got good upside for his price point. Like he's only like 5 mil or whatever not, and it has meant that I've got a particular amount of money in the bank, which in an ideal world, I think I know who I'd be looking to put that on. But like these are all dependent on me riding it through at the moment to build up those free transfers again. And whether I can do that or not is another thing. So it may be that I throw the dice one last time and go for a couple of minuses this week because I'm already in a very bad position anyway. So there's nothing really to lose and everything to gain. So it may be one of them, but Marlon is the one that is likely to be out this week. From my perspective, obviously I've got issues in defence as well. I've already said that I think that Middlesex will lose 3-1. So on that basis, like having you doggy in my team is not necessarily the greatest move for the weekend.
I love the way you treat us like Evo. My man refuses to say their name. Not once so far this whole season have I heard you say their name.
But
man fully emos them off.
but the transfers, at the moment the transfers need to be sorted out. And to be fair, I got my just desserts for actually including a couple of Middlesex players. So I've only got myself to blame. But I need to sort of, for me, when I look at my team, especially over what's going to be the Christmas period, I need to sort out the goalkeeping area. Need to sort out a couple of my defenders. And I'm not getting enough value out of my midfielders. So there's a lot of work for me to do in a short span of time.
I've got a slightly different viewpoint and arc in that maybe he's forgotten or maybe he hasn't, I don't know. But, in a couple of game weeks' time, obviously we had the 5 transfers jump into our team. So for me, I'm not really looking to take minuses at this point. In given it in 2 weeks' time, we're going to have the 5 transfers. So,
even in your position,
transfer won't be enough.
Yeah, I mean, even in my position, I think, I might make one transfer this week. Senesi's not going to play, so I'm looking at maybe replacing him with possibly Hall. Is the transfer I'm thinking about right now. They've got 2 home games, so that looks like a possible transfer that I'm looking to do. But yeah, look, I mean, my team is doing really, really bad. But the frustrating thing is that, the last couple of weeks, not this week, but the last couple of weeks, I've actually had the team to score quite well. It's just I've made the wrong choices. So,
it's a timing thing.
Yeah, it's a timing
Not
thing.
necessarily choices, it's timing.
Yeah, so I think that the points is in the team, it's there, but I need to just obviously, have a little bit of luck and just make the right choices going forward. Even this game week, even though I had a really poor score, on paper I was fairly confident with my my team this week. I had Rodgers at home to Wolves. I had, Haaland. I had players who I was, Minte, who's been decent. I thought, this could be a good week for me, but it is what it is. But yeah, the one change I think I'm going to probably make is Senesi and Hall in. That's what I'm thinking about at the moment.
Cool. I thought that Minte was going to return you more than Rodgers would this week. I just had a feeling that Rodgers would be in a strange place. Remember last week I was saying that he's actually been outperforming his XG. So is it sustainable, type thing? And
which is mad considering who they were playing. But he was right.
I think it's just one of those things. It's like even the form of Gibbs White, right? So Potts, you'll remember we've had a conversation offline where I was saying, well, I need to bring this guy in. He obviously scores. But then when you have a midfielder scoring 3 in a row, you kind of like, is he really going to be able to do, 4 in a row, 5 in a row? Like, it's unlikely. And then you have to start looking at the data underneath it. But yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Rodgers is bad by any shape of the imagination. It's just it's hard to continue that form all the way through. In the same way, it's like what we're seeing with Semenyo, right? Like at the start of the season, do you remember we were talking and I said, look, to be honest, he does this and then he reverts to type. He reverts to his baseline. And unfortunately, he's done that for 4 or 5 weeks now. And we're all just sitting here like scratching our heads thinking, well, when do you get rid of him? When don't you? But to your point, Guffs, we've got 2 weeks in which he'll be gone anyway. So is there a point in actually shafting him out of the team?
So just
one
on
thing,
that, just on that, yeah. Ghana didn't make it, if I recall correctly. So for those, if I'm right, you've got the stats just in case you correct me. But to my knowledge, I think Ghana didn't make it. So I've got Kudos and Semenyo, but I don't think they're under threat from the African Cup of Nations because they're out. So as a tip to anyone watching, that if you've got Ghanaian players that you're worried about for a Cup of Nations, if you didn't know, I could have kept to myself, but I share. my one little gem, and before the stat man gives you all the rest. But yeah, so Semenyo was a tricky one because he could stay after game week 15. So I just want to put it out there.
Looks like he will. I think you're right.
Yeah. So if I'm a Kudos and Semenyo, just because Ghana's out and they're not going anywhere doesn't mean they're going to stay on my team because they are frustrating me. But Kudos scored today. So yeah, I'm just monitoring both of them. For me, I'm not scared to take minuses. I actually thought I'd be taking out Van Dijk, but he kept the clean sheet, so I'm not going to waste a transfer there because the whole point was given Liverpool's run that I'd expect them to get a few clean sheets. So
is Isak on your radar now after scoring?
Do you know what it is? I've got the answer to that's no. No, he's not. It'll be on the watch list because he is someone that could go on to start scoring goals, and they've got good fixtures as I've said. However, Ekatike is sitting there waiting, and Isak scored his first goal and came off. I don't really know if I want that, especially in the period where the fixtures are so close. I'm already spending a big money on Saka and hoping. The difference is Saka plays 90 most of the time, so I'm not messing about Isak right now. But there is 1 or 2 changes I want to make, but I'm not going to take a minus this week. The problem is the person I would like to put in, I can't afford. even though I've got a bit of money in the bank. So it's either I go for someone else or I do a -4, and I'm trying to hold it down with these quick turnarounds. And if I think if there was a game week to do minuses, unlike what Guffs was saying, it will be this week. And then after this week, I don't see the point in minuses anymore. And you might as well wait for the 5-3 changes. And remember that if you've got stocked up changes, they don't carry over. You'll just be maxed out to 5. So if you've got them, use them. But yeah.
The one last thing I'll say though about the sort of transfers is that when there are games that are close together, the midweek games, I'm expecting there to be a lot of rotation in teams. This is what we have, right? And this is one of the other reasons why I don't want to take a minus, because I'm expecting potentially, like for Arsenal, I think Odegaard might start, for example. So you take -4, -8 in a fine. The people you bring in, they're not even starting, or do you know what I mean? So it's a bit of a risky one to sort of do it at this point. And just to the second point,
it depends on the players you put on.
Well, I mean, you're saying Saka's 90 minutes. I'm not necessarily convinced by that. I think Madueke will take minutes off him, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if I see Madueke starting some games, quite frankly. But we'll see.
Hey, who says Saka ain't the person that's coming up my team? Do you know what I mean? I'm just speaking in general when I'm speaking, because when I'm speaking to everyone, watching and listening. But I've made my feelings clear. Van Dijk was on the top of my list that if he doesn't get a clean sheet, he's out, and he did. And Saka's, one of my favourite Arsenal players, if not my favourite. But at the moment, he's not doing it for me in FPL. And I thought this week he was going to do it. I said it because he's been quiet. Eze went and did it last week. This game week is going to be him. Yeah, this game week is going to be him, and I was wrong. It's like, keep you again, and then are you going to do it against Brentford? But as you said, he might be taken off. We'll see in it. I'm planning on one change. I'll probably do it tonight, so it's out of the way because of the quick turnaround. Can't get who I want in. I'll have a find a replacement for him, and maybe build money up. When I get the 5 changes, I can correct it and put who I want in. Or I'll just take the -4 now. But if I take a -4 this week, it'll be my last -4 for the next few game weeks, because when we get our 5 changes, I won't need to. So it'll be my last -4 for a while. But we'll see. Well, look, we spoke about what we might be willing to do. So I think it makes sense talking about the captain choices. So, Ark, who's your captain going to be? And yeah, if it is Haaland, who would you think as a second choice alternative if he wasn't going to go for Haaland? For the people out there looking for alternatives.
My captain choice likely to depend on who I bring in. So if I bring in from Liverpool, that person will probably be my captain, because they're playing Sunderland at home. Haaland is Haaland. It's difficult. Like, games like what happened can happen. It's just quite frustrating that it happened when using a chip. So, I mean, even there's an argument for taking somebody from Arsenal, although on the showing that Arsenal gave, that 11 that they put out are going to be tired. So whether they will be up for it, but it's at home, so who knows. But like you say, there are rotation risks. I think that Saka will play. So if I was going Arsenal, it would be Saka. I think Gyökeres will play as well. So I think a good few people will be back. But yeah, from my perspective, if I was looking at Liverpool, it would be Saka or it would be Gakpo. But the issue with Gakpo, or Nekpo as I call him, is obviously he just got the goal and assist. And if you've seen him historically this season, he's quite bitty like that. He doesn't score in clumps. He'll have a a low scoring game, then he'll haul again, that kind of thing. So whether he's the right pick, I don't know. Haaland's probably the person that I will go with there. For me, even though I've got him Boomer, I won't go for him captain. It might be a choice that I should have done, but I won't do. He's had 2 games where he's kind of returned nothing recently, which has been kind of worrying.
You mentioned Isaac earlier, and obviously as a possibility if you did put some Liverpool players in. Do you think this goal is going to make him start to progress with Liverpool now, or do you feel how...
It's more about the rest of the team for me. I think that the rest of their team, for instance, today they dropped Salah obviously, and they played Wirtz and Gakpo. I think the rest of the team can platform in a way which will mean that he does okay. I think that even the goal that he scored today wasn't a particularly brilliant goal or whatever. No, it was the first time that he had a bit of space in the box. Because I think the issue that he has been having, or that we're seeing now that he's at a bigger club, is he's very transition reliant. So he doesn't really affect the game enough when he's in the box, and he's got to create separation for himself. So he can't create separation in the way that a Haaland would, or even a Mateta would. So that's been kind of behind why he's not hitting the heights at Liverpool as it is. That said, I would probably, if I had a Liverpool player, I would probably go with Nepo as captain. But that would be a wild haymaker choice from me because I'm chasing upside.
Guffs, your captain choice?
Yeah, I think probably Haaland. I mean, I think that I really want to go against him, and he hasn't done great this game week. But it's difficult to go against him. I think he'll be hungry and upset, and be looking to get back in the goal trail. So I think if I owned Mboma or Fernandes, I could be tempted to go one of them. And like I said about Newcastle, they got a couple of home games. Man U do too. In fact, they got a run of 3 games now, which are quite good for them. 2 home games. I think they're away to Wolves, so it's a good little period for them coming up where it might be good to kind of have some Man United assets. Albeit, I'm not overly sort of convinced by them quite yet. They seem to sort of be a little bit up and down, but yeah. So I think for people that own Mboma or looking to bring Mboma in or Fernandes, I think they're decent shouts for this game week. West Ham, they're really poor. They're really poor, and you're thinking today against Liverpool, RIP Bonds, you're thinking they're going to show a bit of fight, a bit of aggression, a bit of heart, and they were completely flat and were there for the taking, really. So, but all things being equal, Haaland, I think, is got to be the choice, really.
Cool. I'm captaining Haaland. There's no doubt about it. I'm in a position now where I'm looking at my team and my differentials within my team to close the gap at the top. I don't really want to go against Haaland after him not scoring this game week. So I think he's going to want to get that, what's it called? Is it that 100th goal or whatever? Right, so I think he'll get it against Fulham. Doesn't mean he'll score more than one. And if I was going to go against Haaland and I had a United player, it would probably be, as you said, Fernandes or Mboma. I looked at who plays Wolves every week, but this week I think it's Nottingham Forest, which means I don't know who to pick from them. So that's not really a choice. So yeah, Haaland all the way. And if I was going to think of an alternative, it would be a United player if I had one. But on that note, let's see how we finished up this week and see the high performers, low performers, and who got the most points. And this week, Super Hoops, boy, up to
21 places. You're in 9th place now, isn't it? Right, look. It's a big jump.
Yeah, Definitely a big jump.
Yeah, I think he's got
And-
74 off a free hit.
Yeah, don't talk
That's what
about
I
free
need,
hits
man.
because that's
That's
what
what
I
I
wanted
need.
to do. But you need more than a free hit, bro. But yeah, Rice and Racks, should I say? You dropped all the way down. Wait, so my man's gone up to 9th. So Super Hoops has basically said,
Give me a
Rice
spot.
and Racks, I'm taking your spot, and then you just dropped down to 25th, being the biggest drop this week. Okay,
Yeah.
big up Super Hoops. And
Rice and Racks got 23.
yeah, that's quite low, but there's been lower, which we'll get to. As you can see, someone's got 77, which is the highest. Murder on Sedan's floor. Okay, interesting
Yeah,
team name.
he's doing well in the league as well. Fair play.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Interesting team name, but when you rise like that, we've got to give you your props. So I won't even banter you. I've seen where you've ended up. The worst performers this game week are very interesting. FC Barcelona, okay, 20 points. And why are you gay? I like that name. It's a very funny name. But 20 points is pretty pathetic, if I'm being honest. So, you two are the worst performers this week. Yeah, gotta look at yourselves and try to bounce back. As for the top of the league, as we can see, the top point scorer this week has got that green arrow up into 2nd. So it's a big jump. He's doing his thing. Peaky Blinders still top. Gonna win. All his chips were used early. Starting to fall. He's now 3rd. Another green arrow in 4th. Rambo Gunner. And dropping down to the 5th spot. Posh 911. So that's the top 5. The bottom 5 in the league. It's been some changes here. The one that stands out for me, well, actually, I'll come to you. Let's do it in order. But 2 Peak for you has dropped back into the bottom 5 in 68th. Glim climbing up to the 69th position of the league. Dead by game week 7 is continuing to drop and seems like he really, or she really is dead by game week 7 because now you're 70th place. And the other 2 are just been at the bottom 2 for a while with, I can't say devil worshipping team anymore because I know it's referring to Nottingham Forest, but you're trying to close the gap, so I'll give you that. Each week I'm noticing a bit of progression, so good luck to you and hopefully you keep climbing. As for us, as you can see, I've got a green arrow, still nothing to brag about. I'm 30th. I'll keep closing the gap, don't worry about that. And not going to reflect on that, go on about it anymore. But obviously, the other managers, 52, my son's keeper, Red Arrow, and man like Guffs, 61 for Red Arrow. What's your team stand for again?
Mike Tyson blow to the face. Which
Seems like you've been holding a few of them.
I know.
You need to get off that mat, stand up for before the 10 count and get back into this.
That was a nice segue.
Get yourself back up and, do you know what I mean?
Try it, man.
Get back into this fight.
I know, man.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good, son. It's not looking good.
It's not. The good news is that this game's coming thick and fast, so hopefully I can just, you know what I mean?
100%. All 3 of us as a collective are not in position we want to be in. So hopefully all of us have a good week this week and we all have green arrows and I remain in the middle and that, get me hosting again because that's what I want. so far I think I've been fortunate if I'm right. Anytime that I've been knocked out of the position of hosting, I've got it back the following week. So like I'm trying to maintain that.
You
Put it out there.
You're a true boxing champion, yeah? True warrior.
Yeah, man.
Always avenge your defeats, yeah?
That's what I like to
Okay.
like to do. I like to be saying, and I've put it out there now. Because you know when you talk and you put it out there, usually the opposition wanna stop that. So make it interesting. As you said, games are coming thick and fast. Hopefully I'm here again next week hosting.
Getting back to the spiritualist shop so I can get some more sage. Because you and your flipping voodoo, like, done a number on the triple captains this week.
Do you know what? Unlike myself and Guffs, you've got a few chips still. So
Nah.
I'm not saying that means you're gonna.
I got none left, bruv. That's the sad thing about it.
Okay. Oh, this is why I didn't want to.
Man burst the thing and got a lick in the face, like Hots really pointed out.
Hey, so. Why for that? But anyway, let me go there. But yeah, so me and Arks got one left each, and yeah, it's interesting because I kept that chip because I wanted to hold on to it, so I know that I can compete with the people that's got chips left. But I still regret not doing my free hit this week. But it is what it is. A couple of days time, we go into game week 14. So let's leave it there. We're gonna be back very very soon for the next episode. Please continue to support, like, subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications. We've seen the numbers grow a little bit. We're consistent. We're trying to remain consistent even in difficult times for us. But look, even for those of us, and including me, that are not doing what we want to be doing in this league, we're going to continue to push and deliver the best that we can in the show, bring a bit of joke, even when the joke might be on us, or on some of us a bit more. No offense, Guffs. But yeah, like, subscribe, support, spread the word. Look out for, all the segments that come in the show, like Guffs in the ground. You could be at a ground, look out for him, he might be there. And look out for the stats from Statman. And please, players, I'm not saying players watch this, but don't end up being the donut of the week because it's going to get more intense. This is just how it started off. Things will change and it's going to get worse. But anyway, triple captains. Will I be in the middle screen hosting again? We'll see shortly. And that's that. We're out.
Truth be told, when I wonder what the future holds.